Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics. Remember Drain the Swamp? It seems kind of like a distant memory, a mirage even, but it existed and Donald Trump said that he was going to do it, and that all the ethical implications of the sketchy Congress and all of these donors are going to be kicked out the door, and he was going to really make Washington clean. Drain that swamp. Except, while he drained the swamp, he filled it, I guess, with toilet water or sewage or some of that green slime from Nick at Night. Anything that's even swampier than the previous swamp, that's what Donald Trump has done. So, new David Sirota piece talks about how Trump and his administration are completely abandoning all pretense of draining the swamp again by just throwing Obama's executive order that made things a little bit more ethical in the garbage. A review of agreements between Trump's top appointees and federal ethics regulators shows that none of the compacts mention the 2009 executive order that requires incoming officials to sign a pledge to avoid participating in policies that directly or substantially relate to their former employer or former clients for the first 2 years of government service. Obama-era ethics agreements included standard language obligating political appointees to follow the rule. If the ethics pledge rule is not enforced, watchdog groups say, Trump officials entering the administration from the private sector could quickly be in a position to use their government positions to enrich their former paymasters. Rather than facing a full 2-year restriction as required by the Obama-era executive order, they would encounter only a 1-year restriction previously enshrined in federal law. Yes, what is the difference really between 1 year and 2 years? It kind of seems like crumbs from Obama. Typical Crumbs Obama, that should be his nickname. But at least it's something. And I know what you guys are all thinking. Rex Tillerson, didn't he just work for ExxonMobil? Yeah, he was the CEO. And he just received an $180 million payout from ExxonMobil. Could that have anything to do with his new position in the administration? Could that have anything to do with the fact that ExxonMobil and Russia and the Russian government had a billions and billions of dollar deal in the Gulf that was scrapped away by the Obama administration's rulings? Could that have anything to do with that fact? So the $180 million is basically, I'm going to pay it forward so you can pay it back to me and line your former employer's pockets, Rex Tillerson. That's basically what it is. So again, Tillerson's $180 million is a retirement package. Yeah, I bet millions of retirees in this country would kill for an $18,000 retirement package, let alone the $180 million retirement package. So, however, Donald Trump is at least pretending to follow some ethical standards. So, back in November, his administration proposed that they were going to have a 5-year lobbying ban. And in an effort to appear, again, like they were draining the swamp while filling the swamp. Registered state and federal lobbyists would not be allowed to serve in the Trump administration, and people who leave the administration couldn't lobby for 5 years. Yeah, I guess that sounds like really a nice thing to do, but again, lobbying is really on the list of priorities in terms of Citizens United and campaign finance reform. Lobbying, I think, is maybe 15th. And that's why Obama and actually it was Obama and Debbie Wasserman Schultz just did away with it. They had a lobbying ban for the DNC. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is completely corrupt, and she wanted lobbying within the DNC. But lobbying, again, is not the big potatoes, it's the small potatoes. So that's Donald Trump trying to, again, look like change, but have continuity on the inside. Kind of sounds a little like Obama. I'm not comparing the two, but you know what I mean. Trump's 5-year lobbying ban proposal, that might be great in covering people leaving the administration, but if he's really thinking about draining the swamp, you still do have to worry about potential conflicts of interest with your incoming government officials, says Scott Amy, the general counsel on the Project of Government Oversight, a watchdog group that recently reviewed Trump administration's ethics agreements. Are they working for the taxpayer, or are they working for personal and private business interests? I think we kind of know where Donald Trump's administration stands on that. So, and according to reports, most of Obama's appointees did sign this ethics law. but there has been no formal pledge to sign the law from Rex Tillerson or from any of those guys, and they basically seem to be completely ignoring it, which is in violation of the law. Simply stated, the Office of Government Ethics is not applying the Obama Ethics Order. Because it is still in place, OGE isn't following the law, and neither are agencies and nominees who are not signing the ethics pledge. And it's not just Rex Tillerson in this administration. Listen to the list of potential conflicts from these very important cabinet positions within the government. Defense Secretary James Mattis, who Bernie Sanders just voted to let in, by the way. James Mattis, a retired general who made nearly $1 million as a board member of a Pentagon contractor, General Dynamics. Mattis served on the company's board until being appointed by Trump. He recently signed an agreement with federal ethics regulators pledging to avoid General Dynamics' Pentagon-related businesses in his new job, but only for 1 year. You know, you can't expect these government officials to stop enriching themselves and stop lining their own pockets for more than 1 year. Come on, you know? You gotta give them a break. Let them be so poor for a year where they can't use their Pentagon position to enrich themselves from their former employer. I'm so sorry, General Mattis, but 1 year you should be able to survive on food stamps, hopefully. The National Economic Council Director, Gary Cohn, a Goldman Sachs president whose White House job will position him to influence federal economic policy affecting the bank. Cohen is set to receive an $100 million payout from Goldman Sachs upon leaving the company and entering government service. OGE's website does not list an ethics agreement between Cohen and federal regulators. Lastly, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly, a retired general who has worked for a Homeland Security contractor as well as for private equity and consulting firms. Kelly recently signed an agreement with the federal ethics regulators, pledging a 1-year cooling-off period on involving him in government business related to those companies. So, obviously, Trump's cabinet is the swamp. You don't need to hear it from me. But David Sirota broke it down perfectly. These guys are even more unethical than the previous administration, which Trump says he was draining. And that's a fact, because they are disregarding the ethical safeguards, however flimsy they may have been, put in place by Barack Obama and by his administration. So, by definition, they are swampier. But it's all about conning the American people and then making yourselves richer. So we shall see, but Sirota with a lovely article once again.